Welcome to my channel, everybody. My name is Rainer and this is Rainier Books. It is Friday here in Stockholm, Sweden and all around the world, and it's really hot. We have a period of 26, 28 degrees outside, which actually leads to hotter temperatures inside my apartment. Here inside it's 29 degrees, which I think is about 82 Fahrenheit. We have no air condition. It's really hot and you don't want to do much things outside right now, only in the evening. And well, one thing you can do is read, of course. And I read a book, I finished a book this week, and one of my favorite authors is Jonathan Coe. I told you about him. The Proof of My Innocence is his latest novel, and I finished this book, and I want to say something about it to you. So let's do a short review about Jonathan Coe's book, The Proof of My Innocence. I have read, I think this was the fourth novel by Coe that I have read and finished. I have read Mr. Wilder and Me, that was my first Coe novel. I have read Middle England and Bournemouth, and now, no, not Bournemouth, Bourneville, I'm sorry. And now I finished The Proof of My Innocence, which came out in early 2025. And as very often in his work, Jonathan Coe puts his characters that he's creating into a real historical environment. And it's very current history of Great Britain. We are in 2022. Queen Elizabeth has died after 70 years on the throne. And her funeral on September 19, 2022 is one of the things that is mentioned in this book. But even more important is that a new time, of course, after 70 years, a new king, King Charles III, is getting on the throne. And there's also a new prime minister who is installed, but only for a couple of weeks, I think 8 weeks or something, not 7 weeks probably. Liz Truss is a conservative prime minister. She is on September 6, 2022. The Queen is installing her. And then on October 25, 2022, after the Queen's funeral, Liz Truss is already stepping down. And this novel is set in this particular period of time, but we also have a flashback to another time. At the center, and not at the center of the novel, is a young woman named Phil. I think Phil is her name. She's 23 years old. She works at Heathrow Airport, Terminal 5, in a Japanese restaurant that is called Hey Teriyaki. It doesn't exist, but if you've ever been to Terminal 5 at Heathrow, you know that there are at least 2 other Japanese restaurants. So I think I know the feeling. I've eaten there before, and I know where Phil has worked. So Phil works there, and she is still living with her parents. She has finished her studies. She's not very satisfied with the way things are going in her professional life. She wants to become a writer. And in the beginning, she is meeting this man who is a friend of her parents, of her mother. Particularly, he's coming with a young woman who is his daughter. Her name is Rashida, Rash as she's going to be called. And the young women are talking to each other. And Phil says that she wants to be a writer. She hasn't written before, but she writes down 3 different genres that she could think of writing and maybe being successful, because 3 genres that are quite popular in our time. And these 3 genres are cozy crime, number 1, dark academia, number 2, and autofiction, number 3. Then Chris is leaving. Chris is the man, the friend of her parents. He's leaving to attend a conference at a very old castle-like manor somewhere in England where conservatives are meeting, and he is a journalist, he's a blogger. He's supposed to investigate, as an investigative journalist, this think tank that is going to meet there and who wants to take away, as we learn later, the NHS, the National Health Service in Great Britain, which was established after World War II. Then we get into another part of the novel, which is cozy crime. And we follow Chris to that conference. Chris is getting into different difficult situations, and he's sort of covering up. He's investigating, he's talking to a lot of rich people. A lord, of course, must be there, and some people who have studied together with Chris back in the day in Cambridge in the 1980s. The second part of the novel, I can't tell you what the first part, the cozy crime part, how it's ending. The second part of the novel is a direct connection from the first to the second part, and we are now in the 1980s, in the beginning of the 1980s, and now the story is been told by a guy named Brian, also a former friend of Phil's mother at the time when she was studying in Cambridge together with Chris. And Brian is writing his memoir. He's terminally sick in cancer, and he's writing his memoir about the 1980s, about studying in Cambridge. And turns out that even Jonathan Coe has studied in Cambridge. So we are in dark academia in the 1980s. And the third part is told by Phil and Rashida, by these two young women. And I can't tell you so much about that, but we have a murder, we have a situation in which the conservative members of this conservative think tank are covering up something. And I would say that Jonathan Coe has written this with a lot of pleasure. That's to be seen, that's to be read in the novel. He must have had a lot of pleasure in writing these different styles, cozy crime, dark academia, and autofiction, and putting the puzzle together. So we have a lot of meta-fiction here. We have a novel that is written inside a novel inside a novel. So Coe has created a character named Phil who has written 3 different kinds of genre books that are inside the book. But inside one of Phil's books is another character, Brian, who's writing as a first-person narrator. So this is a lot of fun. And as always, Jonathan Coe creates or is delivering the history of our time in a very convincing way with characters that he put flesh and bones into that are living in this time when Liz Truss was going to be, as many conservatives hoped for, the most conservative prime minister in the UK since Margaret Thatcher, to abolish the NHS, to privatize healthcare in the United Kingdom, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of pleasure in this novel. I liked it a lot. Some people have criticized the novel and have said that the crime part of the novel is sort of taken over and sort of disguises a little bit what Coe actually wants to deliver. I can understand that criticism, but still I see that Coe is succeeding. If you are a Coe reader, he will still be succeeding by delivering his message of this situation where conservatives are trying to have big tax breaks for rich people, and where they want to abolish the NHS to make money that the rich people can sort of get with their tax cuts. Similar situation actually now with a big beautiful bill in the United States, as it turns out. If you like Jonathan Coe's way of writing about contemporary history by creating fictitious characters and putting them into that history that we all have lived through, then you will actually like the book. So the title of The Proof of My Innocence is also kind of interesting because it's not the proof of my innocence. I'm not guilty and have to prove my innocence, but it's the proof of my innocence. But you will learn that when you read the novel. Do this and tell me all about it in the comment section down below. I see you soon in another video, which is probably going to be a TBR. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.